All right, so we back with another video. Today we're going to be over the 100K, how you can get to 100K with a clothing brand. I think you can get to 100K a month with any business. Honestly, 100K a month is a very, 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 very small portion of your market. 100K a month, 1.2 million a year. That's genuinely no money in business terms. Um, yeah, like you're barely even scraping the surface. So, boom. If you're doing, or I guess it's also kind of just like a video for like the agency, whatever. Because this is like this is the range of people we usually work with, 10 to 20K a month. If we're doing 10 to 20K a month, there's like a 90% likelihood that you've only been using Instagram Reels for all your content, and you probably realize that it's really volatile, hard to post. You have to post consistently, or sales stop. It's hard to grow organically. It's time consuming, and it's really only good for early stages. And that's really just where Reels cap out. Reels really cap out at this 20K a month range. Obviously, yes, I know organic dropshipping demons exist where they make 100K a month from organic, and yeah, but really, the main issue with organic is that it's only really good for early stages because at these points, and because you're trying to drive all your traffic to your website, and the only way they can really get there is by clicking a link in your bio, or like searching you up. But most of the time, if they're or on TikTok or Instagram, they have to click a link in your bio, which is just like one, two. It's like three steps, right? Because they have to scroll to the video, click on your profile, or if even if we don't count scrolling to the video, they have to click on your profile, click on the link, and then most of the time they have to confirm opening the link, which is three steps. And people are just lazy, right? Three steps to do that. Like, because you also have to imagine these people are probably in school, driving, they're in bed, just chilling, and it's just like they see your brand. And it's like you have to get them to take three steps yet they have to stop and pause what they're already doing to go to your site and then lose something, which and then gain something in the future, which people inherently hate because they have to spend money now to get their clothes later, and then like just because of the space and like when COVID was around and people were doing 100K drops and sending out no inventory and just making 100K profit, like people got scammed, so now they're extra weary, which just makes it a lot harder. And it gets to that next level. It's really all just about getting more traffic to your site because on a higher level there's only like three metrics that matter, which is MER, NCMER, and then profit per visitor. And MER and NCMERs is new customer marketing efficiency ratio. So how much do you have to spend in order to acquire new customers? Then is how much are you spending in comparison to how much you're making, which is MER. And then for and then profit per visitors is how much money you make off of each visitor. And as you can see from this brand that we worked with, we scaled them to 140K a month. Right here, this screenshot is just the last 30 days. I just needed something to use. As you can see, February 20th. I just needed something to use while like for this video because I hate making mirror boards. But yeah, at a certain point they had to pause their drop, or we had to pause for a little bit because I think it was probably this dip right here. The payment processor was down, so we weren't able to process any money. Yeah, and this is tracking sessions. So in this area right here, we made $0 because yeah, the site, we just couldn't process payments. So yeah. So that caused revenue to drop, and now we've been scaling the ads back up because you can see there's like a huge, like it was inclining, then there's a dip, and now we're back to scaling it up, as you can see, slowly but surely. And yeah, to get to that next level, this is really all you need to know. Um, at the end of the day, there's the 80/20 rule where 80% of your success is just going to be in the market and niche you pick, or not even the niche, because a lot of these brands are niche, right? This is more high level, and like me thinking about like when I built, like I'm probably going to end up building a clothing brand. I'm probably going to end up exiting it because I don't care too much about clothes, but um, it really just come clothing is kind of hard spaces because clothing matters a lot about identity. So for example, if you're selling a streetwear brand, you have to have like black models that have tattoos because that's how people look, right? Like if you have like a little white kid named Tommy who's like as soft as a pillow, and like your streetwear brand, no one's buying from that, you know what I mean? So yeah, so it's really just matter about your positioning off rip. And like the it's called a market gap. Most of these brands can't get past 100K a month just because there's like no gap in the market that they're trying to fill up. Like for example, a brand like Insomnia, they're an emo goth brand. That's the people they serve, so that's how their identity looks, etc., etc. And because they have like their own little market there, they're able to scale to big numbers. And for other brands, that's just streetwear. It's just like there's 50,000 other streetwear brands with things that look exactly like yours. So the one they buy from really does just come down to like a coin flip for the most part. But so yeah, if you want to scale up, have like a super big exit, which I know you guys are probably thinking that far, which is cool. It really just depends about like your market gap and the market that you're trying to serve in the first place. But I think anyone can get to 100K a month. I wasn't even gonna say that in this video, but I thought I'd say that just because I want to talk about what I want to talk about in my video. So you can leave if you want to. But yeah, so there's really two stages when it comes to ads. This is basically like what the process is gonna look like from scaling to 0 to 100K a month. From 10 to 20K a month, you can do it just strictly organically. But after that, it becomes kind of hard. And then usually your time, like the time it takes to do this, is gonna have to go to report these things. Well, if you're for my clients, it mostly just comes here, where that's a lot of time, and then we handle everything else. But yeah, you need to free up your time so you can do higher leverage things besides make content. Even though, because like if you're stuck making content, and then you're making content by day, trying to like figure out your drop and fulfillment by night, it becomes a mess and it becomes really hard to scale because at a certain point you have to start sacrificing like sleep and stuff, which you're gonna want to sleep in. Your video quality is gonna go down, so you stop getting more orders, and then guess what? Your orders go down. Now the time that you were using to do this, you don't have anything to do. Now you're trying to make more content, and it's just like it's going to be fluctuating constantly. So just to actually dive into the video with like that little preface out the way, um, for ads, there's really two parts. Well, ads, and I guess to explain this, you're going to be doing this at every stage, but the end all be all goal is it's going to go like this. Boom, you get someone in your funnel from the ads, they come all the way down to this part, and they either buy or they don't buy, but you want them to come to your backend. So from the ads, they're going to come to your site, and ideally they buy, and then they come into your backend, and then becomes a cycle like this, where you have a new drop, you send it out to your backend, people from your backend buy the new drop, and it's just a good cycle. Or they come to the site, boom, come here to your backend because they get on your SMS list or your email list because they don't buy right then, and then the same cycle continues, right? That's what it looks like on the highest level, and that's what all big brands do because paying for customers is expensive, and if you do that, your entire business is going to fail at scale. So yeah, so boom, first things first, step one is you have to have ads. That's the only way to really get consistent site traffic in like a way that's really easily measurable and trackable, and a way that you can easily improve upon, because it's a lot easier to improve upon ads than content in my opinion, just because with ads there's so many more markers you can track, and like they're readily available for you to track. So boom, you have to make ads. When you first start, you're probably just gonna be making branded ads like this. There's like Sarah Coke with Chris Emma, and this is an ad directly from Coca Cola. But then stage two, this is more at the 75K, 100K month range, and this is where like UGC allows you to scale up really fast, especially because how meta and drama now is. Um, it's about creative diversity, and like if you look at this isn't a good example, but I guess it is still a pretty good example. Even though this is like they all look very similar, you can see like this is like an Asian Filipino looking lady and like a different type of background, different type of clothes. This is a black man in front of a brick wall, and this is like a white woman in front of a door. These all would get different entity IDs under Meta, which means that they're all going to have their own pocket, like audience pocket, which means they're all going to have their own customers that they sell to. And guess what? Would you rather be selling to one room of people or 50 rooms of people? You see, it's that simple, and that's really the easiest way to scale under Meta. Um, because before, what you would usually do is, let's say this is your ad account, and your ad account covers this much ground. There would be something that goes like this in your ad account, and usually you'll just make other things like that do the same thing. But now under Meta, only one of these would get spent still. This is more advanced, so you guys probably don't even know what I'm talking about. But under Meta, basically they would rather you have you go like this, and you just get like a really big pocket of people, but then you go like this, and like you only go towards like really one narrow audience because they don't want to like crowd the market with one type of ad. So yeah, so boom, after you get your ads, I'm trying to like get rid of the drawings. After the ads, it comes to site optimization. This is going to be something that you have to do constantly, and this I should put this, but this really comes down to two things where it's just like um when it comes down to offers Offers, you're always gonna have to offer test on your site, and then it comes down to, I guess I'm gonna call this resonance testing, where, like I was saying, at the end of the day, one of the biggest markers is just like, what market are you in? Let me make sure I'm recording still. Yeah, one of the biggest markers is going to be like what audience you're in, and for your site, you just want to make sure your site resonates with the people actually coming to it. Because if, like, imagine you click on an ad about dolphins and you get sent to a web page about food, you're going to be really confused. You're going to think you're getting scammed. You're going to click off, right? Like, I know we've all used those pirate sites where like you click on like a video and like it takes you somewhere else. You have to exit out of it, go back to the site, try to click on it again, etc. Like, that's basically what's going to happen, and they're going to leave, and they're not going to buy from you, and you just wasted money. So these are going to be the two things you test most of the time. Offers are really straightforward. Make them so good that someone looks stupid saying no. Alex Ramosi, right? And then resonance testing. This one's a lot more nuanced, where it's like you have to just know your audience. And then at a higher level, what people tend to do is for every ad that does really really good, they just make another page for it, so it can be like perfect resonance. So yeah, and then after that, if you're one of my clients, this is where you're gonna have to focus most of your attention. Is just drops and inventory system. Drops slash inventory system comes down to two things, which is fulfillment. If you can like get someone to package them in 3 days as a clothing brand, like you're gonna be golden. That's like the rule of thumb. It's just like try to have 3 day shipping. If you have 3 day shipping, you'll be perfect. And consistent drops. This is where most brands fail. Is they'll run one is one because it'll be like they'll just be streetwear niched and not like have an actual market gap that they're like exploiting. Um, they'll usually only have one drop, and they can't really sell to a lot of people just because there's not like a specific reason for someone to pick them out of all the other options. Like, for example, would you rather have, if you roll your ankle playing basketball, would you rather have like rolled ankle relief, or basketball, or a sports rolled ankle relief? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, the sports one, because that's my specific situation. So that has its own gap. People are more likely to buy that one for reasons. And yeah. How long have I been recording, bro? I feel like I've been talking forever. Like, it's only been 12 minutes. Okay, it's not too bad. Um, and yeah, so it's just like having consistent drops is really the most important thing. It's like, honestly, if you just want to hit 100K months and like you just want to do like the drop method, um, you really don't even need a back end and just acquire new customers every single time. But obviously, if you have a back end, it just makes it a lot easier because you have like a little like pool of people you can count on. But like another thing is just like having people come from ads and acquiring them as a customer just really isn't possible unless there's always something that like the people you're acquiring can come back and buy a week later, which most of the time they can't if you're just doing it like this. And by consistent drops, I mean you probably want to drop at least 2 pieces a month, so that's 24 SKUs a year. And some people say 12. I say 12 is a physical product that's like reusable, but for clothing, I would say close to 24. Just because when people buy stuff, especially clothes, people don't just buy one piece of clothing at a time. They usually buy them in pairs or like in sets. That's why sets are so good, because if someone buys a shirt or something, they also want pants to match with it. And then after they buy pants to match with it, it's like, oh, I need accessories to go with it. I need shoes, etc., etc. So yeah, I'll say if you can drop like a pair of pants and a shirt, and like if you want to get like really tactical, what you should do is if you drop a pair of pants and a pair of shirt, you want them to be different enough so someone can buy them each on their own, but you want someone to feel smart enough to be like, oh, these low key match with each other, so I should get these. Like if you can do it like that, your AOV is going to be way higher, and then people are going to be buying, and it's going to help you with your inventory as well. But your AOV is going to be way higher, so you can spend a lot more on ads and be a lot more profitable than somebody else. But yeah, it's like a little hack. Like make 2 pieces, make them different from each other, but make them like, let's say, have like a similar like theme or color scheme, and people be like, oh, I really like these pants, and then like while they're on the site, they see the shirt, and it's like, wait, this shirt low key goes with this pair of pants. I low key might have to get them both. That's like the high level. But yeah, last thing's back end. The back end's really, really, really simple. Well, I say that because I usually like I've come like I first when I first started out in online business, I started with the back end stuff. But yeah, it's really just about making sure that your flows convert people, and then as far as email and SMS campaigns, depending on your audience demographic, You might just send 1 to 2 a week. Usually, I would recommend sending 3 to 4, but that might be overkill for the space. I don't really know. I haven't really done too much with backend in the clothing brand space, just because a lot of the time it's just not needed. Because for you to actually be sending stuff on the back end like campaigns, you need a consistent drop. You need consistent drops and new SK and new SKUs to be like talking about in the content, etc. So really, on the back end, it's just about having good flows, and you're gonna have to A/B test your flows like depending on how many site visitors you get, like maybe like once or twice a month. So it's really easy. And yeah, if you just repeat this cycle, like I said, consistent drop, new drop comes out, run ads, send it out to your back end. This cycle happens. Like I tell, if you do that, especially for like really good position, you can scale up super fast. Especially with UGC. UGC is like the ultimate hack to ads right now, just because all these ad platforms want a lot of content and they want all the content to be very different. And the easiest way to get a lot of something that's very different is just to go get the same thing in a lot of different places. Like if you want different tasting fried chicken, just go to a different fried chicken spot than what you usually go to. You know what I mean? So, and that's pretty much everything. Scaling up really isn't that hard. You just have to know what to do, when to do it, and the right process to do it. And I say me and my team really has that down. This isn't even like a shameless promo, but it's just like, especially this last week, I've been really like honing in on what makes ads successful during like this new kind of like phase of marketing going into like 2026, and kind of just like the because last year Meta or marketing was at an all-time high where over like $1 trillion was spent on Meta, I think, or I don't know if it was a trillion, but I think like a billion. And it's just like, they spent a lot of money on ads, and so like ads were becoming a lot more like prevalent. Like something pretty cool to think about is like my parents, or maybe not my parents, but like my grandma, she probably grew up not seeing ads to like on her phone when phones first came out. Like if you got an ad on your phone, it's like, yo, what is this? You know what I mean? But like I grew up where ads were like a normal thing 24/7. So yeah, that's pretty much everything though. If you have any specific questions, just send me a DM, or I guess we can yeah, and just send me a DM. I'm free to talk like whenever. I'm usually pretty actually, never mind. But yeah, if you want me and my team to help you out with this, in case you're curious, um, this is my second Instagram account, but this is my partner right here. This is my goat man. This is my demon. Yeah, basically we scale brands. He built that romance, scale his brand to 7 figures. And yeah, bro, we got an agency if you want to scale that 100K a month off of paid ads. Click the first link in the description, and me and my partner hop on a call with you, see what we can do for you. And yeah, bro, recently been going crazy, hanging out with Web and Twin Uzis. I'm jealous, bro. I should have went. But yeah, bro, that's pretty much everything. If you have any questions, let me know. And hey, bro, if you want to get your brand scaled, just click the link in the description. Love y'all. It's a different video from what I usually do. I hate making Miro boards. So yeah, love y'all, boys.